All right, so you guys, upon my research on Carnival, I found that in Carnival there are a lot of demons and devils celebrated in this festival, which is not it's not a surprise. It's basically a festival of celebrating the flesh and everything that is carnality and carnal to God and against the spiritual man. I also found out that even though the slaves took it to make it their own and express their freedom or rebellion or whatever, that even from the beginning, when the rich whites used to do it, the devil was always involved in this parade. It had a different name. And so even as the slaves took it over and made it their own demonic parade, these demons and devils are still very much involved. These are just ancient spirits masquerading, using human bodies in this time. These ancient spirits have been doing this in every generation, just revealing themselves differently in each time period. So in this period, they use beautiful girls and feathers that are basically naked. And then we have people that actually dress up as some of these demons and devils. And so if you hear my dog in the background, she doesn't want to be in the cage, so just don't pay that no mind. But let's go over some of these characters. All right. Okay, and amongst some of those characters, here is a list, and all you have to do is Google it, and it's called, the source is nctt.org, Traditional Mask Characters, Devils, and Demons. And the first character is Dragon slash Devil Moss is the name, and it says, the devil from the Greek diabolicus, slanderer or accuser. So not only are they out there naked, drinking, fornicating, men and women and women, but they fighting, accusing each other. As the great power of evil has been much depicted in religious and secular literature and art as a spirit of power of evil. As a spirit or power of evil, though sometimes used for minor demonic spirits, the word devil generally refers to the prince of evil spirits, and as such takes various forms in the religious regions of the world. The religions of the world. In traditional Trinidad Carnival, the devil dragon moss may be divided into three main groups of characters: imps, beasts, and rulers or gown men. Imps. An imp is a character who wears a pair of scale pants or candle over his skin tights. He wears a simple devil mask with horns over his face. He usually moves about in a sprightly manner, swaying his hips and making sudden leaps. This character often attempts to enrage the beast. Imps fall into different categories. Each has a different function in the band. They are King Imp. The King Imp may wear a crown on his head to distinguish himself from the other imps. Now, these are all the devils and demons that are in this Carnival parade in Trinidad and Brazil and every other place. Sometimes he wears a pair of short pants under his scales or an overall. Then we have the Agatania imp. This imp is like the master of ceremonies. He carries a key used to open the gates of hell. So this is what we're doing. Not what we're doing. This is what you're doing when you're participating in these masquerades in Mardi Gras in New Orleans. They're still celebrating these demons. In Carnival, whether Trinidad and Tobago, Brazil, wherever else they celebrate it, you got all these demons out here that are summoning up by being half naked, by being drunk, dressing up as these spirits, inviting them in, offering their bodies that God gave them to these unclean spirits, dressing up like a demon that has a key to open the gates of hell. Then you have the marker. This imp has a flag in his hand to show the directions. To hell. Axeman, the imp carries an axe in his hand. The bellman, this imp carries a bell in his hand. The scale man. And this was what's interesting about the scale man. I'll show it. It says in the book of Revelations, it talks about the scale being unbalanced and all that, and God's judgment, and the, what is it called? The beast on the horse and all that. Those the plagues that are coming. And one of them has a balance and a balance scale. So I thought it was interesting because it's like the book of Revelations is all through here. And it talks about the unclean spirit of the harlot that abominations, the antichrist, the blasphemies in Revelation 17 and 18. That's all throughout these masquerades. This Mardi Gras in New Orleans, Carnival, all these demonic spirits of lust, fornication, abomination, drinking, sex, just wickedness and pride, vanity. Okay, so then you have the king beast. The king beast wears a large dragon mask with a protruding tongue. A protruding tongue. And notice how in sexual culture, young people are always doing their tongue to represent oral sex. This is where it's coming from, this spirit. His costume is covered from the head to the tail in scales of different sizes. These are sometimes made of cardboard. There are long beastly claws, which in hell are used to tear, souls apart, but they don't know that, which are attached to the ends of his fingers, or they mock it. They think it's not real. He also wears a chain around his waist with a heavy padlock. Stray beast. This beast is less elaborate than the king beast, and two can usually be found, one on the left of the king beast and other on the right, protecting him. Key man. This character is expected to dance in order to open the water. Now remember those mermaid spirits, those marine spirits of beauty, of lust, of sail, those mermaids and sirens that often they say in these tales influenced these sailors and then killed them, got them to come over with because of their beauty and killed them. And then you got the Starbucks that's basically built on a siren marine spirit. And now you have this key man demon in this parade that is a character expected to dance. And what do they be doing? Doing the African dances from our ancestors that where they were summoning demons, lust, worshiping sex, god of fertility, worshiping Oshan, vanity, pride, idleness, orgies, that great harlot, that great harlot of Babylon. And it says, dance in order to open the water to make it safe for the band to pass over. This is blasphemy. Open the water to make it safe for the band to pass over. The opposite of what Christ did for the children of Israel. Split the Red Sea for God's children to pass over. Here you're saying demons are making the water safe for the band to pass over. Y'all get the irony, the blasphemy in this? The process is necessary no matter the size of the waterway. Traditionally, this masquerade is afraid of water. This is crazy. Ladies in waiting. These are glamorous lady devils. Glamorous lady devils, these beautiful women that are offering their bodies to these spirits of vanity, pride, lust, lasciviousness, and idleness by being up here with these beautiful costumes with the feathers, but the rest of it isn't beautiful because they're naked. So it's idleness and lasciviousness. And these are these women, the ones with the big feathers, walking on the sticks up high in pride, sitting like that woman in Revelations, that spirit of that represents the nations, that harlot of abominations. These are glamorous lady devils. Now these are regular women that are beautiful, but they have given themselves over to demonic spirits and don't know it by participating in these parades, by being naked, walking on these sticks, using their beauty. These devils are coming in and using their beauty. Remember, the enemy portrays as an angel of light. So he's using these beautiful young ladies, but they don't understand that it's really demonic spirits. They're giving themselves over to idleness, to drunkenness, lasciviousness, same-sex attraction, fornication, just all types of demons and devils. So it says they wear special gowns, gloves, a pair of flat shoes, and carries fans. These are always dancing. Don't they be out there doing the dances, and especially us black women doing the African dances from our ancestors that leads to, just demonic worship. And y'all think it's crazy, but that's what our ancestors were doing before they knew Jesus. One thing about us, we can dance, but it's using our bodies, our beauty, our rhythm for Satan. And you going by the African drum, you're dancing lasciviously, lustily, getting you to do everything that is against God. No, you got to crucify the flesh. You got to come out from amongst them. Says they are always dancing. Normally 5 or 6 of these evil female characters would be waiting for one man, just like the sirens and the mermaids, the marine spirits. And I seen them in a dream. These things are real. These are demonic spirits. This character is dressed differently from the ladies in a waiting queen patroness. She sometimes has a fork in her hand. And then the rulers and the gown men, Lucifer. In classical mythology, the morning star, remember the Bible says, and he's seen him fall like lightning from heaven. And I think he calls himself the morning star. Personified as a male figure, and we notice that Pharaoh called himself the morning star too. Personified as a male figure bearing a torch. Lucifer had almost no legend, but in poetry he was often herald of the dawn. In Christian times, Lucifer came to be regarded as the name of Satan. This traditional character wears a crown on his head and a large flowing cape. Normally a tall, elegant man plays his character. Lucifer is the king of the band. elegant man, beautiful. He was the most beautiful angel. Take that into regard. Satan was the most beautiful angel now, even before Gabriel and all that. And he also was over music. That's why he said, oh, I'm so beautiful. I'm so gifted. He wanted to be God. And God said, oh, no, it's only one me. And he kicked him down to hell. This is why he betrays himself. This is why he uses beautiful celebrities like Beyonce that are into witchcraft, that mock God, and uses celebrities, even if they're not beautiful, like Jay-Z. He look all right, but to me, because he's demonic, that's what makes him ugly, not so much the African features. It's the spirit. But most of the time, Satan likes to use beautiful celebrities. Your Beyonces, your Nicki Minaj's, your Rihanna's, whoever you think is most, he liked to use them because he was beautiful. So he uses beauty and talent to entice us, because the beauty and the talent was meant to glorify God. But a lot of times these people go what? They go left. They go Hollywood. They go Illuminati. All right, for money, for fame. They sell their soul. And then Satan, his character carries a fork in his hand. Luke, like the imps, he also tempts the beast often. He is the second king. Now, remember now, the book of Revelations talks about the beast, the devil, all being thrown into the false prophet, all being thrown into the lake of fire alive. So that's their end. But right now, they're tempting the world. Right now, the spirit of Satan is loose in the world. He's the prince of the air, and he's using beauty, and he's using music, and he's using soca, and he's using reggae to get you to smoke, have sex, be lascivious, be idle, drink, smoke, same-sex attraction or fornication. Just he's using all this music, all this beauty, all these fame, and these celebrities still worshiping Bob Marley in hell. He might have spoke of peace, but he didn't speak of Jesus. Reggae's have their own religion, for those of you that don't know. And it may not be all of them, but a lot do. And so he's lost. And you have these people on the island still worshiping him. We need Jesus. He's the ultimate one love. We are truly one. All of us come from God, but we need Jesus. So we got to let go of the idolatry, worshiping dead celebrities that are often in hell because they did not have Jesus. They were not born again. They weren't living holy. They were smoking. They were drinking. They were sexing. It's a lifestyle in the Caribbean. It all goes together. The smoking, the drinking, idolatry. They stay up at Carnival for hours, just idle, just drinking, just orgies, just sexing, just partying. And y'all think y'all going to heaven like that? We got to be born again and come out from amongst them. The Prince of Dark, he wears a gown or a long robe. He always has a pen in one hand and a large book in the other, in which he takes down notes. He wears a big grotesque mask with horns over his face. Prince of Darkness. Oh, I'm sorry. The first one was the Prince of Dark that I just said about the large book in the notes. This is the Prince of Darkness. The character wears a white outfit, and over his face, he wears a dragon mask. His movements are normally assertive. Gentleman. So probably given to sexuality and stuff. Coming on strong. Gentleman Jim, like those men that in R&B, we like to move and all that. I know it's in our rhythm as Africans, but we got to protect, we got to control all that, because a lot of that is still spiritual as well. It's spirits, spirits of lust, spirits of sensuality, and we engrave it in Black culture, and we like when they wind and all that. But it's spirits behind this stuff. That's the truth. So we need the Holy Spirit, because we have to control the flesh. And the only one that we should be getting jiggy with is our husbands. And even in that, it says keep the marriage bed undefiled and holy. Okay, so you have a good time with your husband, but you got to be undefiled. You can't be inviting people in and just giving yourself over to lust, even in marriage. That's what a lot of people don't know. They say oral sex, even in marriage, is a sin. They say doggy style, even in marriage, is a sin. So we got to still be holy and keep the bed undefiled in marriage. That's what I'm finding. Like, what? Well, I didn't even know all that. All right, Gentleman Jim. The correct name for this character, I'm abstinent, y'all, so I don't know anything about sex. So just to let y'all know, I'm waiting on my husband. But I did find that interesting, finding that out on YouTube from a lot of different people. Gentleman Jim. The correct name for this character is the Gentleman Devil. The Gentleman Devil. He is one of the best dancers in the Devil Dragon Band. I told y'all be liking them. Y'all know y'all like men that move their hips and be whining and all that, but these are the spirits behind it. He wears a top hat and a long scissors tail coat. In his hand, he has a walking stick. In short, he dresses like the perfect gentleman. Yeah, that's that one that be doing all them genuine moves and all them moves from the 90s, and then be some of them Jamaican moves y'all ladies be liking. And fornicating right to hell, So we just got to be aware of the spirits behind this. And while I'm at it, we can go a few more minutes. Let's read about one more demonic spirit they said came from, that's in Carnival. They said it traces all the way back to the African roots of Carnival. And I want to get this lady's name right. Hold on. Pause it here. All right, so Jab Molassie. Listen, I'm just a Black African-American young lady, so I probably didn't pronounce that right. I don't know how they roots and how you supposed to pronounce that. I don't know if it's French, Creole, whatever. But this is a demon, and let's read this and I'll tell you about what I've heard of it. Jab is the French pétios for diable or devil, and molassie is the French potios, so whatever, for molasses. The jab molassie is one of several varieties of devil mask played in Trinidad and Tobago Carnival. This type of devil is often smeared with tar, grease, lard, and or various dyes, most often red, green, and blue. And when I was reading another story, let's save that for afterwards. Errol Hill describes the Jah Malassi as a leaping, prancing masker, his body dabbed with black or blue paint, sometimes with molasses, who threatens to besmear spectators unless they pay him off. Certain Jah Malassi will adapt aspects of other devil masks, such as the beast, incorporating the use of shackles and restraints to hold back one of the devils in the group. So you see how Christians have no place in this? And you see how this is so influenced by hell and Satan and beasts and demons? The use of metal restraints, molasses, and soot have linked the mask to the treatment of estate gangs en route to a cane fire. Joe Malassi can still be found performing in Trinidad today. The dancing and performance of the Jab Malassi is often accompanied by steel drums. Where do you think that came from? The African ancestors who was worshiping demons and doing voodoo and witchcraft. And research on Carnival actually shows that. Made of repurposed items such as fire-treated biscuit tins. Now, the other story I heard of the Job Malassi is that it was an African demon female spirit that somehow, I think it accompanied the beating of the African drums, and this demon wicked spirit would come and do kind of some of the same stuff, do this dancing and this witchcraft stuff, and the white people were scared. They called it, well, it is, I would have been scared too, it's witchcraft, unless you were in it, but you're worshiping Satan, you're not scared in that moment because you think, you're doing the right thing or whatever, or you just on the devil's side. But anybody with common sense would know, hey, they're devil worshippers, let me get away from them. So, okay, the other story I heard from Trinidad, from people who took part in Carnival, was that this molasses, what is the name? Whatever, this spirit would often be like men, John Molassie, like painted in all blue, all red, whatever, like it was saying, and just walking up and down the streets, gyrating, and they would like say for hours, just men, just basically naked with their body painted by body spray, and you just moving lustfully and erotically and sensually just for hours into the next morning. And then they say some of the other ones to represent the aspects of the slaves rebelling against the whites who couldn't participate in their parades, which turned it into another thing. They had another name for it before it became Carnival, and they said that that's why sometimes this spirit or this character, which is really a demonic character, would also wear chains and shackles, and they said to represent the slaves, but to me that represents your slavery to sin, to Satan, to hell, to idleness, to idolatry, to demons and devils. But they think it's rebelling against the white man and what he held us from and how we made it our own, but really you're being a slave to sin, a slave to eternal damnation, a slave to them flames, a slave to spirits of fornication, homosexuality, idleness, nakedness, everything that is against God. And to me, that's what those chains represent, but they don't know that. But they're giving themselves over to demons by dressing up as these demonic characters. And those chains are really representing their spiritual chains to darkness. So I thought that was interesting, but that was not the other article that I had. So real quick, let's see if I can find it before I... So they called it Cannibal after the emancipation because they could not participate in it because they were slaves or some of the poor whites. So they mocked the rich whites and they did it in Cannibal. Okay. And it says it was a variety of costumes. All right, and stuff like that. And then later on it became Carnival. But the use of the devil and the images of the devils was always present. From the white rich people, they used the devils in their costumes, to the Cannibal all the way to Carnival. Like the same ancient demons are still in each of these aspects of these celebrations or carnivals from hell, these demonic spirits. It's just a celebration of the flesh. And somebody else broke it down in another video of what it's another word for it in another island. I forgot what it's called, but it basically means flesh. So it's basically a celebration of the flesh. It's idolatry, it's idleness. All right, what else? Okay, so this one says demonic in appearance. People usually attribute Joe Molasses as an interpretation of a devil. However, it is widely believed that the Jab Molesi is an Afro-Caribbean depiction of the Orisha, the one that Beyonce worships from the Yoruba tribe, the Orishan god, the Orisha, the one that wears all that yellow deity, and Isu. Originally from Nigeria, Isu is known as the trickster in the Yoruba pantheon during slavery, practicing. So you see how this witchcraft and all these false gods and these demons and devils and demonesses, these female goddesses are in this stuff, and it's witchcraft. Practicing African religious activities such as obeah or witchcraft were seen as demonic. Joe Molisi, like it's not, it is. Joe Molisi was a way to portray the devils that slave owners believed the Africans were. Ironically, Joe Molisi is also said to critique the former slave masters as the devils they were for committing the horrific act of chattel slavery. After the Cannibale riots in 1884, which was a rebellion for the freedom to celebrate Carnival, the Cannibale, and two wrongs don't make a right. Yes, slavery was wrong, the witchcraft was wrong, and slavery was wrong. So at the end of the day, they both were wrong. But was the witchcraft there? Did we bring witchcraft from Africa like the white people said? Yes, we did. And when the white people started killing slaves and killing black people and lynching us and all the torturous ways they killed us, honey on our head, tarring us, as a revolt, as a what's that word called? As a way to get back at them, the Africans would start practicing witchcraft, and that would scare the white people because the Africans had devils in them, and that was their way of getting back at them. But then the white people would probably just kill them. So at the end of the day, they both going to hell. They both was wrong. White people was killing us. We was doing devil worship. We both was wrong. That's why we all need Jesus. After the Cannibale riots in 1884, which was a rebellion for the freedom to celebrate Carnival, the Cannibale progressions were regulated to the wee hours of the night. Just like they say Carnival, they say they'd be out there for hours, just naked, parading, sensually dancing. The men painted that I just talked about, those devil characters, and this one person said they just was out there for hours, just drunk, just out of it, just hours until the next morning. And then when they went to take a shower, they went to some other part of the island and just started it all over again. I'm like, how much lewdness, how much idleness, just a celebration of the flesh and all the things that are against God. This was the beginning of the modern day Jovet, derived from the French phrase Jove Auveriet. All right, so I just kind of want to bring you guys, and it's funny how it says Joe Molese is an expression of freedom. It embraces West African history and addresses the horrors of slavery and how blacks kind of turned that into like revolt against the Europeans that did not allow them to celebrate in their demonic celebrations. And how they kind of look at Carnival as the same thing. But what it is really is you being a slave, like I said, to sin and to these demons and to these spirits of idolatry and to this Babylonian harlot that has, all these blasphemous idolatry. It talks about in Revelation 17 and 18 and just pours out her wine on these people, on these nations of people, gets them drunk and just drunk in the spirit of drunkenness and idleness and of all things vile and against God. And you wouldn't know that unless you're spiritually inclined. The dead don't know that. You're a dead man walking blind or leading the blind into the ditch. We only know that when we come into Christ, when we hear the word and we get delivered. And we got to want to understand that we can't be lukewarm or religious. Christians should not be participating in Carnival or Mardi Gras or any of these other things. We have to come out from amongst them. So I need y'all to know that this is not just something innocent. And even if it is saying that, hey, the slaves took this and made it their own, that does not make it okay in God's eyesight. That does not take away from the fact that it is still vile. It is still sin, vain, abominations, idolatry, idleness, drunkenness, lewdness, nakedness. All these women half naked on these sticks, pride, orgies, just drunk with the wine of harlotry and hell and fornications, abominable men and men, women and women, just drinking, just out of there, just a lust flesh, just like Mardi Gras. So it does not mean that God is okay with it, because he's not, because he's holy. So we should not be doing it on the rights of, oh, I'm preserving my culture, oh, black people are overcomers, we made this our own, this is a hell fest, this is going to lead you to hell, this is against Christ. So even if this is a part of black culture, it's kingdom over culture, it's Christ over culture. Even if the slaves, overcame and they adopted these demonic ways with these demonic drums. Drums aren't demonic, but it's who you're playing them for. You playing them for Jesus, you playing them for demons. A lot of times they played them to communicate, and other times they played in witchcraft rituals. So in these ways, they're summoning demons with the music, with the soca, with the nakedness, the drunkenness. You're giving your body over to these spirits of lewdness and drinking and sin. And, I don't have to, y'all get what I'm saying. So we have to come out from amongst them. I just wanted to let y'all know that devils, demons are involved. These are ancient spirits that was way back in Pharaoh's time and from the beginning of time. These are the same spirits in Carnival, in Mardi Gras, in the gay parades that was in Sodom and Gomorrah. Guess what? They just took on a different form, but it's the same ancient spirits. Same ancient spirits that got Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed is going to get Trinidad and Tobago, is going to get Brazil, is going to get America destroyed if we don't come out of this homosexuality, fornication, this harlotry spirit, this idol spirit, this drunken spirit, all these sins that are against God is going to destroy us. Not me. I'm born again. Not the ones that are serving God, not the ones washing the blood of the Lamb, but those that partake in the ways in Revelation 17 and 18. Same ancient spirits taking on different faces, different groups of people, but the same ancient demonic spirits leading souls to hell through lordness and the lust of the flesh. That's why we got to reject the flesh, crucify the flesh, be delivered, ask God for deliverance, and be born again. God bless. Jesus loves you. And it's his will to save you and deliver you. That's why he don't want you to continue to go to Carnival or Mardi Gras. He wants you to renounce. And he probably wants you to renounce that sorority and for fraternity as well. I'm hearing you can't get into heaven because those things have Greek gods above those sororities and fraternities, and the black ones and the white ones. You got to renounce all that. Come out of the gangs, come out of prostitution, come out of twerking, come out of sinful lifestyles, period. If you're just shacking up, just give it to God. If you love that person and it's different, you're male and female, ask God, hey, is this the one to get married? If not, get out of that. Live for God and wait on the Lord for your husband. What I'm doing, and what the Bible leads us to do. It's better to marry than to burn, not just with pleasure or passion, but to burn in hell because you were shacking up or fornicating your whole life or just living in sin. So y'all, that's it. Jesus loves y'all. Please come out of these pagan idol celebrations of Mardi Gras, gay parade, and carnivals. It may look beautiful, the colors might be beautiful, but it's sin, and it's sin to God, and God calls it sin. He calls it idol, and he's going to judge it, and he talks about the spirit behind it in Revelation 17 and 18. I encourage you to read it. God bless y'all, and be blessed. And Acts chapter 2, John chapter 3. Let's go for spreading the Great Commission, baptizing everyone in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Those are titles. The name is Jesus, Acts 2 and 38. God bless you.